I'm Scott Spratt from Pro Football Focus, and this is another Fantasy Slant. Fantasy players may be surprised to see Washington tight end Jordan Reed in the top 5 of many dynasty rankings, and even the top 10 of many redraft rankings. However, he's a player that you really should get to know because the hype is justified. Reed was a third-round pick in 2013 out of Florida. He caught 45 balls for 499 yards and 3 touchdowns as a rookie last season. Now, those numbers may not strike you as being very big, but keep in mind that was in only 9 games. Reed was knocked out later in the season and had lingering concussion symptoms that prevented him from playing most of the second half of the season. Obviously, those health concerns are worrying. However, he's in a prime position to be a very productive and featured player in the Redskins offense this season. Incumbent tight end Fred Davis is no longer with the team and seems unlikely to be back because he was suspended indefinitely for violating the league's substance abuse policy. He was then arrested on suspicion of DUI a couple days later. His days in the NFL, in fact, may be over. Meanwhile, long-standing Redskins Santana Moss is a free agent and turns 35 this summer and may not be back as well. If both of those players are gone, that leaves just Jordan Reed, wide receiver Pierre Garcon, and running back Roy Halou as the only returning Redskins pass catchers who had even 30 catches last season. Now, the Redskins did go out in free agency and added Andre Roberts, formerly a third wide receiver for the Arizona Cardinals, who's been very productive in his time there. He could start as the second wide receiver and is probably a fantasy sleeper in his own right. However, there's really not much else the Redskins seem likely to do for the team. They don't have a first-round pick in this year's draft because of the Robert Griffin III trade. That's the pick that the Rams are going to have in the first round. However, that leaves Reed with a combination of youth. He's just 23 years old, a great pedigree as a third-round pick, and a very productive first year in the NFL. I think with that and the opportunity that Reed has this year, that gives him the edge over other young tight ends like Ladarius Green, Zach Ertz, and Tyler Eifert, all of whom are justifiable sleepers, but to me don't really possess the short-term upside that Reed does. That makes Reed a great bargain later in drafts if he's slipping, especially in redraft leagues, where people might not be quite so sure who Reed is and how productive of a player he can be this season. For Pro Football Focus, I'm Scott Spratt.